Hello, Thirstaholics. Welcome to the Thirsty Professional, where today we're welcoming William Bill Wacker, founder of Safe Harbor Coaching and former corporate captive. My people. Stay tuned. Go take a shit or whatever you need to do. We'll be back in a flash.
Welcome to the space where truth is poured. No corporate scripts, just tales explored. From passion quest to purpose found, the thirsty professional breaks new ground. So fill your cup, let's have a chat about careers, life, and all of that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Thirsty Professional. This is a place where we grab a bevy, we ditch the BS, and we get real about careers, purpose, passion, and happiness. I'm your host, Beth Ann Campbell. I'm a former corporate queen who traded in her crown for a pen and a microphone. I am author of the award-winning Where the Hell is My Bacon? So it's the true story of how fried pork helped overcome bad leadership. No joke. If you're watching live, please let us know you're here in the comments, where you're from, most importantly, what are you drinking? If you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. And of course, make sure to let us know if you have any questions or comments or feedback so we can address it during the live stream. Today, my very, very special guest on the Thirsty Professional is William Wacker. So William is the founder of Safe Harbor Coaching and has an extensive background in cybersecurity, cloud tech. He's a former IBM executive. Again, my people. William, aka Bill, is a survivor of addiction, anxiety, and burnout, and now shares his struggles with his clients to help them rewire their mind and reclaim their lives. And he has some really interesting techniques in his work, and we might get into some other interesting stuff that we just got into before the live. I can't wait to talk with him and you about all of this stuff. Please welcome William Wacker. Bill, welcome to the Thirsty Professional. So happy to have you here.
I'm thrilled. And by the way, with your video, how could you not be in a great mood watching that? It's like if you're not in a good mood, then you don't have a pulse. So
Thank you. Yeah, my one of my former guests, my friend Lion Flood, came up with that lovely little song for me, and I set it to some video stuff. But Bill, we're going to talk about so many things today. But what are you drinking? What's your bevy? Water.
Yeah.
I love it. I love I love the water, people. It's so healthy. I'm coffee. I'm a
I've
little
done
bit of
that. That was 6 a.m.
I'm a
So
little bit of a coffee snob. I see Seamus Corey already checking in. Seamus Corey, Seamus, love you so much. Thanks for joining us. Seamus actually had a three-parter of the Thirsty Professional. Really amazing story. Probably going to parallel some of what you went through, Bill, because Seamus had a trauma in his childhood and youth and young adult. And hey, I have to ask you because you are in the Cleveland area. Surely you have been to Cedar Point Amusement Park at some point.
So Cedar Point it's amazing to me how many people don't know about it. It's the biggest roller coaster park in the world, and
It's amazing.
right on the lake. That area is it's so great. But yeah, it's amazing. My son's obsessed with Cedar Point. It's only 45 minutes for us.
Oh God, I would have been there as a kid. So I'm a Michigander. So Bill is in Ohio, kind of onish Lake Erie, and Cedar Point is actually it's actually a point on Lake Erie. Big amusement park. Very yeah, it's like you said, a lot of people don't even think about it, but that was our childhood. Every year we'd do the excursion, a couple hours drive from where we were in Michigan. But is
Great
Lake
job
Erie?
too. Great job for college kids. Summer job.
Yeah.
I messed up on that. I should have done that, and I did not.
I know. I always wanted to, but then I just I was also a little scared. Like, I don't know. Am I up for running a Cedar Point roller coaster? Could I be like the Gemini person? I mean,
The answer is yes.
I don't even know if the Gemini's still there. It's probably not even.
It is.
Is it? Oh God, that was always my favorite.
Yeah.
Just walking right in the back door. Anyway, I don't know. Just I feel like we're like cousins because I'm from Michigan and you're in Ohio, and we're just like right next door to each other in the States here. So
Yeah, it's funny to say that to somebody that's a Buckeye person,
Yeah.
would probably like, no, that I'm not that guy. So
Yeah. Me neither. I'm a Western Michigan University Bronco. Although I did go to University of Michigan, rival of Buckeyes, for a year and a half. So
so we're so I'm a big Notre Dame fan, but I'm also a Mac person like yourself. So I went to Ball State. So
okay, there you go. Awesome. I love talking about the Midwest. It is awesome. So Bill, I want to just jump right in because we have so much to talk to. I have a list of things here just based on our previous conversations and just your presence out there in the world. But then we got to talking before this, and I think maybe I want to divert into some of the mindset stuff that we were talking about. But let's start with, what do you do right now? Let's just level set everybody as to what you do for a living right now. What are you passionate about in your career?
helping others, which led me to coaching. So just take a couple steps back. I career, like you said, salesperson, executive, or with IBM, a couple other companies, security companies, and like you said, I just got fried. I got burned out. I got
So many,
it was the
so many
last.
people. Yeah,
I mean, you could be as successful as anything, and like do I did 400% and was gone the next year.
yeah.
Uh, and that really takes a lot out of you. It's like,
Were you laid off?
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I basically took a year to figure out what I wanted to do, and it just kept
Mhm.
coming back to who my authentic self is in helping others. And I took a course in positive intelligence, and that really transformed my life. But I really just started going down this path and meeting all these amazing people like yourself that have the same type of
Oh,
energy, a big heart. And so I made it my mission to help people not suffer in silence like I did forever.
yeah.
I looked like I had it put together. I had a great family, um, and was doing well, but I was miserable inside, and it all came from childhood experiences, and it led me to drinking too much and really almost drinking myself to death.
Yeah, I want to get into that a little bit too, but I want to talk a little bit about that. Tell me about a little bit about the period. So when did you get laid off, if I can ask?
Well, there's multiples of that.
What do you want, the whole list or just the top
Yeah, I don't.
10?
We'll get it. We'll stay positive. But it started in 2016, and I was at IBM for 16 years, and I stayed relevant for a long time. As a friend of mine said, that there's no more meat on the bone at this point with IBM. I mean, they've gotten rid of everybody that in that age bracket.
So you kind of saw it coming.
Yeah, kind of, but not really.
Nobody ever wants to believe,
Well, this
right?
is the typical story about, and I hear stories like this all the time. So I went to an event in Florida, in Tampa, prepared, was there for 3 days, did great. I flew home on literally at the airport. They laid me off after all that. I
Was
mean,
it
and
a
that is,
company event? Like they sponsored this for you, like a conference or
no,
something?
it
Or
was, yeah, it was a big intelligence event.
wow.
And I flew home and they're like, yeah, sorry. So
You
that,
know what? I'm going to add this to my list because there's so many things. I have to make a list of all of the great phrases that come out of my guests. But another one is all of the really shitty layoffs that people go through. Like I had Darren Gerheen on, who was he basically showed up for work one day and the doors were locked, and he had a company car, and they basically said, "Sorry, you got to Uber your way home because we're taking your company car." There's so many
it's
people.
unbelievable. I really, and we talked about this, the negative energy. I can feel it like coming up. And it's like,
Yeah,
I don't have to feel that way anymore.
no,
Bye.
it's out of
Uh,
your control.
but you know what? But I will say this: it it doesn't have to be that way, and it's not freaking
It
hard.
doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm a corporate ranter. I'm sure we could share lots of stories, but there are ways that people get treated that don't have to be that way. I have always said that people are very, very accommodating and understanding if you would just be real with them, be honest with them, and be caring about, be empathetic about what they're going through. even when it's really bad news, right? I've said this for decades, and it just astounds me how often I still hear about these corporate decisions, like people getting laid off, in ways that are just atrocious. Just really have there is no caring or feeling involved, and it's just anyway. Okay, well, okay. So what I had a question. Oh, so I want to talk a little bit about. Tell me just about that period of time when you had your last layoff and you made the decision not to go back. What's that? You said it was about a year. What is that like
It
for
was
you?
scary. It was scary. It was exciting. I fortunately, because I think how I've treated people, I have a great network of people, a lot of people to help me. But the bottom line is you got to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to, there's so much you're going to learn, but it's all, it takes that first step, and it's scary, but then you keep going and it gets more exciting. I think the biggest struggle, at least for me, was trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur and how to start something myself. And that goes
The
back
whole
to the,
reason I started this show, Bill, was because of all of the misinformation out there about what it's like to be a business owner. And did you fall into that trap a little bit about hearing, well, this is you're supposed to be rich and making six figures by the time you're 1 month into your entrepreneurship kind of thing?
no, actually, I did not, because I do have good advisors.
Good.
So they said basically, and one of the things that my close friend and mentor, he said, Bill, the problem with you will be that you want to give stuff away because you're that
Mm,
guy, and you got to learn to set those limits and boundaries. And I had struggled with that, and I find myself sometimes wanting to offer that because I just don't want to see people unhappy and suffering. But yeah, it's an odyssey, and it's fun. And when you talk to people like you, Beth, it's like they get it. Like my
yeah, it's
ex-wife
hard not to.
doesn't get it. It's like,
Yeah.
so, the examples today, taking my kid to the airport, and then she ran into some problems, and she goes, "Well, what could you possibly be doing today?" And I'm like, "You don't get it, do you?" Like, I'm on an hour podcast today. I'm excited about that, and like, what? And I'm like, you don't get it.
There's a mindset out there, and I will say that my late mother was one of them, that believe that you only should do things if you get something in return. And I think the misunderstanding is that I do get something. I'm designing a logo and taglines for a friend of mine who's starting a new podcast with her daughter. I'm getting zero payment for it in dollars, but I love doing it. It makes me happy. I love helping people. And yes, of course we have to have boundaries, but I don't know. I understand that the mindset of it's really hard to
So
not do things for people because it does make you feel good and you want to help.
it makes my day. That's how that's my mo.
Yeah.
My a friend of mine asked me to do something, and he goes, "Well, what?" And then he said something to the effect, "Well, aren't you going to ask what's in it for you?" And I'm like, "I don't care." And he goes,
I mean, if you want to throw me a few bucks, then,
he's like, "You're a higher evolved consciousness," and I'm like, and then so I started to look that up, and that's what we've been talking about basically before the call all morning. It's
yeah.
just, it's a different frequency, and everybody can get to that frequency if they really want to.
Yeah.
That's what I told my daughter. Do you really want to be happy, or do you just want to stay in this mindset? Because I can get you out of that mindset, and it's all, you can see it in their face, you can see it in the body language, and it's just, that's what it's been, it's my passion to help. It's and I customize it for everybody because everybody's different and everybody needs something. Everybody needs something, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but they have to be willing. They have to have an open heart, and they really want to have to embrace change. But once they start seeing how things flow with their mind, and then things get better, it's amazing. And my, like you put that quote up, when somebody says, "Bill, I can't thank you enough for how you've helped me," and oh my God, it gives me just the greatest joy.
Yeah, 100%. So what Bill and I are talking about, and let's just jump into that too, because I think this is a great segue. So, Bill and I were talking before I pushed the live button about this idea of. In fact, Bill, he was like, "Hey, have you ever read this book, The Vortex?" And I'm like, "Yep, right, sitting right here." But it's this idea. There's a lot of information out there around mindset and manifestation and things related to that, like gratitude and reaction versus response and that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I had said was that in my travels and my more self-awareness and learning the foundations of things like manifestation and such, my number one goal right now, my only goal, is to be as happy or as positive emotionally that I can be, and everything else can impact that. But the most important thing is not, do I have $1 million in the bank? The most important thing is am I a happy person? And if I'm not, how can I make myself feel a little bit better and positive? Because then I put myself in the right vibration to receive, to allow all of that stuff that is out there. So I think that's kind of what you're talking about, is that is, for people like us, that is part of what that happiness. So if that makes us happy, it's very contrary to what you hear, as we were alluding to earlier when I asked you if you fell into the mindset or the mind trap of the people that say, well, you have to charge for everything, or what's your lead magnet? Is that, you got to have a good lead magnet and 20 hot prospects. And
Yeah, yeah, everything once again resonates that you said just now. But yeah, it's the mind is a muscle, and it needs work just like the rest of your body. And I cannot stress enough how much I believe that. And when I'm passionate about something, I think people are going to see that. But there's so many things you can do so easy with your mind, but it takes work and it takes
yeah,
consistency. It's not, you're not going to do it once. Meditation is the best example of that. I mean, it's look at the science, how much it helps, but
right.
it's consistent, and people are not, especially in America, they're not used to sitting idle. It's like, I'm meditating. Oh my God, I should be working. That's the
Well,
saboteurs talking.
yeah. Well, and we'll talk about that in a second, because I did my Bill uses this technique called positive intelligence, and there's a little quiz, actually extensive quiz, and I did it, and one of my number one thing was exactly that: restless. Like, I'm always having to. So we'll get to that in a second,
Yeah,
but
we will.
you
Your results are they're really good.
you'd mentioned it just a few minutes ago about, I think it was around your daughter or somebody who's, it's this concept of, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Why do you think that so many people feel the need that they have to be right versus happy?
Ego.
Yeah.
Ego is the biggest one. Um, it's and ego falls into insecurity.
Oh, 100%. Ego is insecurity
Because if
wearing a
you're
mask.
not right, well, I must be dumb, or oh well, I'm gonna look stupid. I got to really push
Yeah.
this. Um,
Did you see that a lot in corporate? Because I certainly did. I mean, I wrote a couple corporate books and I called out ego is like, when the more egotistical a person gets, and everybody has ego, but the more egomaniac people that I would see in corp mostly like executives, the more insecure that I recognized that there was like a front row Broadway premiere of insecurity. The bigger the dick, the more bragging, the more it was just insecurity. So I wonder if you experienced that in your corporate days.
daily, uh, like people that have to dominate every conversation will not let their people shine because they have to show that they're the smart one in the room, the smartest people in the room.
Yep.
That all feeds into insecurity. That all feeds back into how you're brought up. Like, I mean, were you pushed as a kid? Like, you have to be number one. But yeah, it's certainly ego, and there's certain, and then once again, Beth, as we talked about, it's recognition. It's recognizing that, oh, I'm showing I have to be right again.
Yeah.
But you start realizing things you're doing and you recognize them and then write them down when you're going through these little periods, that makes such a difference. It all starts with awareness.
Oh,
And,
100%.
and once you're open to being aware of how you tick every day, it's it's like it excites me because you could go in so many different directions with it. It's like, oh
Right?
my God, I just discovered this about myself. Well, what about this? Oh my God. And then it just snowballs, and then you start to become a completely different person. Look,
I
I'm going
love
to say it right now. I was one of my another mentor. She called me a Eeyore, and it hurt my freaking feelings like you wouldn't believe. But she was right, and it was like, yeah, I do kind of like, and I see it in my kids. And it's like, and now that I see it, I'm like, ugh, it's like, I hate that. So it's just now that it's my passion to be able to help people recognize that and get through that and fix it.
It's so many things. I'm telling you, we got to do another episode, or at least have another call, because one of my previous guests, Jutsna Hoffman, had this comment, made this phrase. It's one of my merch phrases, and she said something to the effect of, the greatest journey that you'll ever be on is that of self-discovery. And I think it's so true that the more aware I am, at first it was really hard. Like, are you shitting me? Like, I wasn't Eeyore, but I was the complaining, bitter corporate employee who would go into a conference room and stay after with my peers, and we would just bitch about everything. And I didn't like it. I recognized it and I didn't like it. So part of that self-discovery is that. But I just now I'm at a point where I, like you, I get excited about it. And yeah, so I think this is amazing too, because I want the world, like, to just, it's not all roses
No.
and wonderful things. But you just deal with the world differently, and you deal with it from within, versus everything is happening to me, to what do I have control over, and should I not be paying attention to?
How am I handling the situation right now? Am I handling it in the best of my ability? And by the way, just so everybody knows, we're human. We're not perfect. I'm
Right.
not. I'm not this person every day. I am that person 80/20. That's the other thing I wanted to say, is that I'm a big believer in the 80/20 rule. And I think I was 80 miserable, 20 positive. And what I say also to clients is I flip the script to make you 80 positive, 20 miserable. I mean, we're not,
Yeah.
I think people would hate us if we were happy every bit of the day.
Well, we're
That,
humans, and we are wired to evolve evolutionarily to be negative, but we're in a different world than we were 10,000 years ago, when we had to be negative to recognize stuff, right? We don't have to be that way now, but the world doesn't serve us mostly.
boy, oh boy, are we on the same page? You're 100%. So saboteurs they're a reason we have them, to keep us alive, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
To keep us on guard.
sure.
Because I mean, we were the prey for a long time.
Yeah,
People don't realize that. Read how long we've been on the planet. I mean, we were a prey forever, and
yeah,
that's how these things got programmed in our brains. And
yeah,
now, like you said, we've evolved, and so we just need coaches and
yeah.
people to
Well,
work
and
with.
self-awareness.
Sorry,
Yeah, no.
it's like a personal trainer. You need a personal trainer to work out, to show, like, to get that body you want, because you may want to be a runner. Well, that's a different type of training than being like a lineman football player. Your mind's the same way. It's just, you just have to figure out what's working, what's not working, and then I build a plan on that. And yeah, like I said, I'm sharing a plan with you afterwards. But as Doris said, she's 1,000% right. It's self-awareness.
Yeah. Well, let me jump into the comments real quick, because we got a few people weighing in, and I love we have just such an amazing audience crew here. Thank you all for showing up. Seamus is in the house, loving the chat. Seamus, love you. Dwayne Graham, Bill is a great human. His personal experiences are incredible, and the fact that he is where he is a testament to his resolve, even in the face of adversity.
Well, Dwayne's that person too, by the way. He's an amazing person. So
Yeah. Stella Scott is here from Sweden in the house, eating late lunch and drinking water. Great. I love the water drinkers. Eileen Pizzi is here from New Jersey. I'm happier now that I'm not working outside of the house. Yes, right? Whatever makes you happy. That makes me happy too. And Doris says, growing your own self awareness is the most exciting, empowering thing that you can do for yourself. So freeing and fun. I agree. And as Bill said, it's not at all roses and happiness and glee and euphoria. There's a reason for negative things because they do help us to figure out what we don't want when they happen. But it's like that 80-20. I love the 80-20 rule because I feel the same, Bill. I feel like I went from that sort of bitter person to mostly being happy. And yes, stuff happens, of course. We're going to feel that way, but
Yeah, it's programmed.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you do in your work and your coaching, because you mentioned the saboteur. So tell me about this positive intelligence.
So positive intelligence, it's a framework based on Sharad Chamin's book, and it's a mixture of psychology, performance science, cognitive behavioral therapy. It I took to it like a duck to water just because there's exercises that are involved, and as a fidgety ADD type of person, it was natural. And what I'm trying to do via positive intelligence, and not what I am doing, and I'm catching myself there as a coach, uh, is manifestation, positive intelligence, and just bespoke coaching. So I meet with my clients to take an assessment like you did. We'll talk about that a bit, which is fun. It only takes a few minutes, and it really is it's another way of self-awareness. It's like, oh my God, yeah, I see this in myself. And then I build upon that. But as you said, we all have saboteurs, and I typically work with the top three. So that what person scores on. So we're all the judge. There's also, it's hyperachiever. You're in that class. There's restless. You're in that class. Stickler. Yep. And then there's the controller, hypervigilant, hyperrational, avoider, and victim. Well, I scored very high on hyperachiever, pleaser, and unfortunately victim.
Well, so can we talk real quickly, since we both kind of scored high in the hyperachiever? So if one's hyperachiever is that's one of their saboteurs, what does that mean?
So hyperachiever is tied to self-worth, success, and your image.
Truth.
So what we do is just build self-confidence, self-love. Know that you don't have all the answers, but you put yourself in a good spot to be happy with what you've done. It's like I am, and I catch myself all the time. Like last night, I had my computer and I was like trying to work, and my daughter's like, "Come on, can we just watch the movie?" And it's like, you know what, shut the PC off and let's just focus on the daughter, because you've done enough today, Bill. You've done a lot. But it's that always working person. Always got to work. I saw a video. It was really funny on LinkedIn with this girl that does I'm the always working person. And nope, sorry, I can't go to that thing. I'm working. That is a hyperachiever in a nutshell.
Yeah, I know so many people like that. I was definitely that person. I still am, but I saw it a lot in corporate where I was the yes person because I could do it well. And so more and more people come to you, and then you create a monster, because then you get to a point in your life where you go, I can't do all of this, and nor do I want to do all of this, but there's an expectation. So you kind of, saboteur, we do this to ourselves to a large extent. I'm just going to read real quick the hyperachiever. So again, you can take this test, and it'll identify your top saboteurs from your I guess achieving your best self success. Hyperachiever was my number 2. And the definition here is dependent on constant performance and achievement for self-respect and self-validation. Doris, we talked about this on your episode, how we We have, without the self awareness, how we are successful only based on our achievements, which is not true. Highly focused on external success, leading to unsustainable workaholic tendencies and loss of touch with deeper emotional and relationship needs. So, even though it's really interesting because I still come up as a hyperachiever, and I believe that this is true, even though I've stepped out of that
You're
environment.
always going to come up with what the saboteurs. It's just how much they're impacting you and
Yeah.
working with you. That's part of our personality. It's part of our DNA.
So
And we
there's a,
just
yeah, go ahead.
so
Sorry.
we focus on embracing those aspects, the positive of those things, and then but also then work on the fixing the negative and making
Right.
it more smooth way to live.
Like it's
Focus
okay to
on
just
what
watch a
you
TV
did and
show with your
focus on the serving, as opposed to the actual have to get it done. It's got to be perfect. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be perfect if you do it with a lot of love, a lot of compassion, empathy, um, and you just have to have self love. It's the other key to this, Beth. It all really starts there too.
Yeah.
Because we're not perfect, but we just have to embrace our imperfections as well, and showing that.
100%. Do
Like
you
I
find
am,
do
I'm
you
an
find I'm sorry, go ahead. I think there's a little delay.
I'm an emotional person, and but I and I that was negative for a while, but now I'm embracing the positive of it. That it shows I care. I'm not a freaking robot. It's authentic. It's genuine. It's not fake. There's really nothing fake about me at all.
Yeah. I think self-love and self-worth, really more self-love is so ubiquitous amongst people who are, well, really everybody. I don't know anybody who doesn't, but yet I also think it is one of the things that people certainly are most in denial of. Like, of course, because they think if they're confident, it's not the same thing. Do you find with some of your clients that there is this denial of, what are you talking about, self-love? Of course I love myself. And
Totally, because they're not aware of what that is. Yeah.
yeah. So what is that? What is that people misunderstand?
So, well, there's like you said it again. It's like people don't want to say, "Oh, I have self-love," because they don't want to appear as arrogant.
Yeah, ego.
It's the ego thing again.
Yeah.
Self-love to me means I have everything I need. I'm enough. I'm
Yeah.
good in going from there. Now, like I have a client, a successful salesperson, unbelievably successful, but he doesn't think he's good or smart sometimes, and it's
Mm,
like, no, you are amazing, you're smart, and why would you be saying that exactly? Take a step back and why. Well, I didn't have that presentation exactly the way I wanted it, and I was too controlling. And it's like, okay, well, we're building on that awareness. What could you have
yeah.
done differently in that moment? And what? And it just, and then I also have them write it down. That's the other biggest thing, is journaling and writing these things down, because they're there. And it's not one thing to recognize it and say, oh yeah, I just caught myself in a moment. Having a journal with you is also extremely helpful. I carry it everywhere. I'm a nerd.
Yeah. I think self-love is really one of those things that for me, I'll be working on that for the rest of my life. That was one of the hardest things about mindset for me to accept, because I thought, well, of course I'm a confident person. But then somebody would say to me, like my mentor at this program that I'm in would ask the question, well, so, you want to be, um, you know, uh, healthier and you want to lose weight. Um, that's a self-love thing, right? When we say to ourselves, I'll be happy when X condition is met, that's self-love, right? Because if I can't say I'm happy the way I am, and it is confusing, because I think people go, well, if I say I accept myself the way I am, then I just will never be better, and that's not true at all. Of course, you always want to grow and achieve things, but if we cannot be accept and be grateful for what is in our world now, how we are emotionally, physically, we're never going to be ready to allow to receive what's next.
Exactly. I don't really know what else to say, Beth. Like you hit it on the head. I think you
We should
should.
write a book together, Bill.
We are. That's what we're saying at the end of this. Yeah, I did not love myself forever, even though I just was I felt not good enough, uh, just not enough, and it just took a lot, like you said, self discovery to realize no, I am good enough. I'm actually pretty freaking amazing. How I treat people, I love how I treat people, and if I don't come across authentic or moody or I've never, if I hurt somebody's feelings, I'm like, I will be depressed for a week.
Same. What do you do when so that 20% of part of you that we know just sometimes it happens? I do the same thing. I say like I'm awesome. I love myself. I love the way I look, and
You get
but
out. You got
but
to get out of your head by doing. You got to take action, even though you don't want to. The last thing on earth you want to do is go outside and do a walk. You got to force yourself to get out of that environment.
yeah,
Exercise obviously is amazing, and yoga is amazing.
meditation. We talked about that a little bit.
Meditation
Yeah,
is what is usually my go-to.
yeah.
Uh, I just I just bought a meditation chair that
Oh, what is a meditation chair?
well, it's like you sit it on the floor. I'll send a link to it, but the reason I bring it up is it's another life-changing event type of thing because meditation I could do it anywhere, but when I'm sitting in this chair with my back perfectly aligned and everything, oh my god, it's pure freaking bliss. It's that's the thing. Once you get into meditation and it's effective, you want to do it all the time because you're like just in this zone of no thoughts. If they come through your mind's too busy, they go away. You feel good, you feel cleared, you feel energized. My son was like, how you sleep on that thing? I'm like, I'm not sleeping. It's like
Yeah,
I'm totally immersed, but just tied to my energy. So
I love that. Yeah. Um, I have a meditation chair. It's called a recliner. I do try not to recline because you're not supposed to. You really are, but I love what you said about that too, about meditation too, because I'm not a hardcore meditator. And I think the myth for people is, oh, well, I have to sit there and make my mind blank. But the truth is your mind's never going to be blank. It's just not fixating, and you'll find yourself. I still do it. I find myself going down a rabbit hole. Some thought will come in and I'll start, and then I'll have to just focus on something, breathing or whatever. But I love it too. I feel like when I'm right now in my life, when I am in one of those 20% times where I feel like I'm not feeling real good, and I just don't know what will make me a little happier. If I just go and shut down my brain, that usually helps.
yeah, meditation, exercise, yoga, those are are going for like a walk. But meditation for me is the best because it just clears the mind out of all that crud. Now, one of the techniques that I found really effective is when you're just starting out and those thoughts are coming, you just say thinking. And then for some reason for me it works. The thoughts go away. Thinking.
I love
Thinking.
that. I heard somebody give this great tip about if you're having trouble with too many thoughts, just ask yourself, what is my next thought? And your mind immediately goes blank because you don't know what your next thought is. So, whatever works for you, folks. I know that we've got some puzzlers on here. I use jigsaw puzzling as sort of a meditation because I'm really focused on just patterns and colors, and everything else is drowned out. So, whatever it is that works for you to
Music.
shut, music is a great one. Whatever works to shut your music is so good because I can shut my mind down or I can open my mind up depending on what I'm listening to. It's
I actually, I should have said, I play it because, like you just said, the jigsaw puzzle. Well, a guitar for me is that.
Oh, you play guitar? Well, we've got a rock star, an actual rock star on here, Jay Stansfield, who
Well,
has
Jay
joined us.
Stansfield, I would love to talk to because that's my dream is to be a rock star. That's one of the other things that I realized that I limited my beliefs for years playing guitar. I said to myself, well, I don't come from a musical family. My
Sure.
hands
Yeah.
are too small.
Yeah.
And then once I decided and made it like a commitment, I'm going to play every day for freaking 30 minutes every day for a year. And I did, except for maybe 5. And now I'm like, what? I can't believe what I can play. And now I've discovered that I can create music in my head. So
See?
yeah, no, that's the thing. I have so many things that one of my goals this weekend is to record all these things I've been playing just ad hoc. So
Well, you
yeah,
should hook up with Jay. Jay is in an amazing band called All Hail Hyena. He's in the UK, and it's just, I mean, they got this really cool viral video, but they're just awesome. They play
well,
and they're
Jay, I
performing.
would love to. So UK is my place. That's where I want to live. I have a friend that I sent the positive intelligence book to that is in a I don't want to say his name on here. He very well known rock star, Mr. J, like very like Glastonbury type rock star.
Brush with fame. All right. Hey, so we're getting close to maybe wrapping up in a bit, but we've got a little more time, and I'd love to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Bill, about you kind of alluded to it about your youth and how you because you have said that you use. I love this idea that we are who we are today, not in spite of what we've gone through, but because of it. And you are another great example. We've got almost everybody on this call can say the same thing, right? And I've had these are all most of them guests that I've had on the show, so I know their backstories. Tell us a little bit about what you went through that helped you today and how that helps you with your clients too, because I know you also use that experience.
Boy, I could talk about that forever. Alcohol was my refuge, um, and I knew it was. I. What's really sad and how powerful alcohol is that from the moment I drank, I knew I was going to be an alcoholic, and I did it anyway.
This was me with when I picked up my first cigarette when I was 18 years old. Same thing. I was like,
Yeah,
I
so,
just
but my
knew.
dad was an alcoholic, and my grandmother was an alcoholic, and I didn't really notice it, or wasn't really until my mom brought it up one day, and then ever since she then brought up, that's when my problems started actually, because it became fear of abandonment. I was scared to death of losing my parents, divorce, but then my dad threatened to kill me with a gun.
What was going on with your dad? Tell me a little bit about him.
He's scared. He's an addict, and I love him dearly. And he passed away, but I mean, and he gave up drinking, and I couldn't be more proud of him. This I'm saying this not
Yeah, no, it's good to
see
understand.
how he, but I went through it as a kid, and that caused me significant fear of abandonment. So I started drinking more and more. And then when I moved away to Seattle, that was my friend. Just became that constant friend that wasn't going to let you down. And the reason was just because I didn't love myself. I
It's
wasn't
never
comfortable.
going to abandon you.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's going to kill you too. It's going to kill you if you're an alcoholic. Eventually, something's going to get you. You may not die of alcoholism. May say something else on the, but it's alcohol.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I had pancreatitis 3 times.
Oh my God.
I actually drove to Indianapolis with pancreatitis from Cleveland. Just that's that, but that was the moment.
So how did you
Everybody has that moment where it wasn't my kid losing my family, which is still it hurts, but that also says how powerful alcohol is. I think Elizabeth Vargas had said that. She's that news anchor at ABC, and she wrote a book, and she said, "I love my kids more than anything, but alcohol was more important." And I was
Yeah.
like, "I get it," and it's that powerful. But once I was able to quit, I still had to figure out how to live without it, and that's where people get stuck. They don't have an outlet. And AA doesn't work for everybody, although AA is amazing, but it doesn't work for everybody. And you can talk to a counselor, but that counselor may not understand exactly what you're feeling. Like when you wake up and you have that awful feeling, what I do last night, and I feel awful about myself, and it's like, oh God. And did they see me? Did they talk to me? And people in cybersecurity or sales or whatever, they go to these events, and if you have issues and you're stressed and you're nervous, what are you going to do? You're going to drink. And the chances are, if you're heading down that slippery slope, it's going to cause you some problems and embarrassment and worry and anxiety. And it's a vicious cycle. So that vicious cycle is like, once you have that anxiety, what are you going to do to get rid of that anxiety? Drink.
Yeah.
And then it's just, so it's breaking out of that pattern. It's rewiring that brain and knowing that there's a lot of tools that you can use that'll help you. But you got to want it. You got to want to make change. You got to recognize that these are things that are really impacting your life. And if you do recognize those things, then you can talk to a coach or somebody that really wants to help you. That could be me. I would love that, but it doesn't have to be me. I want it to be somebody. I want anybody listening, anybody that's suffering, just to take some action and get some help. And it's just the first step. There's so many people to help you.
I love that you speak so candidly and honestly about this, because you are so echoing and mirroring. I just helped my uncle who had a childhood full of every type of abuse you can imagine from his parents. Alcohol addiction, adrenaline addiction, became a competitive biker, but still in alcohol. He would say the same thing. He never did AA. It just wasn't. He is if it works for you, great. It works for many people, and he's not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It just, for him, it wasn't what he wanted. But the same thing that you said about your kids and your spouse and your family, he would say the same thing. Like, it wasn't the family. Yes, of course he loves them, but it was when alcohol started interfering with, and there were many factors, but when alcohol started interfering with his competitive biking, that's when he started, I think, just coming out of the fog and thinking, I can't do this. Because he would have to take time off from alcohol during these periods when the month-long season. And I think then he just realized it's time. And also, he was also in an age where he was ready to face whatever it was, because that's a part of it too, right? Every time I hear somebody talk about addiction, I ask, the first question in my head is, what happened to you when you were younger? Because so common. I want to come to the getting into the comments, because we got quite a few comments coming in here. Let's see. Jay Stansfield says, I believe we would benefit from exploring and loving our bodies more. 100%. Eileen says, yes to the jigsaw puzzle. Looking for the edges, sorting colors is very relaxing. I agree. It's very meditative for me. Jay says he would be happy to talk about being a rock star. That's awesome. Jay's amazing.
I'll send Jay and you more information about that. It was one of the greatest events of my life, I'll say.
Yeah, that's awesome. Doris says you're very welcome to the UK. Bill, we've got a Beth fan club over here. Thank you, Doris. I'm a UK. I'm a Europe fan club. I've got to do a tour. Stella says happy is not joy all the time. Happy is true to whom you are, sad, angry, in love, etc. Presence, in short. I mean, I agree to some extent. I do think that if we are stuck in anger and sadness, then
I love what she said.
Talk to me.
Yeah, and I'm glad she said that in the comments, because happy is it's not being content. It's being it's satisfied. It's another 80-20 thing. It's like you're present is a good way to put it, and you're comfortable and you love yourself. That's what happy is. It's having that self-love.
Yeah.
Even when things are not going right. That's that's a good point she made.
I love it too. For me, getting into deep sadness and anger, I don't feel serve me for happiness, except that they do help us understand how we want to feel when we're feeling ways that we don't. It's that contrast that our friend Abraham Hicks. Bill and I are both fans of Abraham Hicks. Look him up. I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but that idea, that contrast when we're in a bad state, or we're in something bad happens, where we, the positive thinker mentality is, well, just, become happy. But the truth is, it's okay to feel those ways. If somebody dies, I'm going to be sad, but it also helps me to understand how I don't want to feel, or what I want to feel, or if something bad happens, I don't want this. I want, so it's all helpful.
Yeah, but there's also more to that as well. I'm actually getting bummed out because we're running out of time.
Well, we'll have to have you come back.
Um, it's how we assign meaning to things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And it's different for everybody. I mean, everybody is, happiness for me is not the same as happiness for you. And
Right.
nobody, no one, neither one of us, and no one is saying you have to be happy all the time. My thing for me is, if I'm finding myself in a negative, what I would call a negative state, where I am overly angry or triggered, or sad about stuff that's not, I don't think is, I'm just in a sad mood, or whatever. I don't want to be there for a long time. Let it, you know, let us feel what we feel, but I don't want to dwell in areas like when I was bitter at work. It didn't serve me. It didn't serve
No.
anything. But I fed on it. The more I was bitter and angry and complaining and ranting, the more I wanted to do it, and it just really didn't serve me. And it's
Yeah, I
just,
was just gonna say, and how'd that work out for you?
I didn't. It didn't.
We've done it. We do it all. I'm as guilty as anybody.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times we want to just stay in that energy or frequency because that's what we know and we're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Comfort is the other thing. Is people are like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
people are used to being miserable. People, and it's not just fucked up to say, but it's true. It's people are used to being miserable, and it's kind of a badge of honor.
It is. I think that's true for a lot of people. I think some people just can't help it. When they're angry about things, I get it. I'm angry. If I let myself, I'd be angry about a lot of things. But it's control what I
I
can
have friends
control.
yelling at me about watching the news. So
Yeah.
and
Right.
they're all in the UK, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, they have a point.
I don't go. We can't go there. We're feeding into the negative energy. But yeah, there's a lot to be freaking scared shitless about. I
Yeah.
mean, we are at a. It's a. It's a horrible time. But then you gotta try to think about. Well, I can't control it. What can I do? I can be the light. Um, I can focus on what possibly is good will come out of this.
Right. Or what do I want to come out of it?
Or what
Right. So, politically, religiously, whatever. That's where I focus my attention. Um, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to. But I do think what you alluded to earlier, about when we're in that negative mindset, which we most of the time can't help. It's when we are dwelling and not coming out of it, and it's really not serving anything. Like you said, what can I control this?
Yeah. So what do
And I
you want
really,
to
I can't.
back up a bit just a second? So you said we're in this negative mindset, which we really can't control. What did you mean by?
No, I mean, when we find ourselves in a mindset about things that we cannot control. So, for example, I use this all the time. I have this intersection that on my drive to take my when I take my dog to daycare, and I'm driving 55, probably 60 miles an hour, but there's an intersection, and the visibility is not great, but there is, inevitably, there's some person who will pull out, and I have to slow way down, and then I got this old truck going 35 miles an hour. And what I can do, and what I have done, is I start reacting. I start making up stories. This guy is a misogynist. He saw I was a woman. I'm driving a Subaru. He hates foreign cars. He's an asshole. Blah 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 blah. And then the rage builds. Right. That's how road rage starts. Is like we take something very personally, and I have to stop myself and say, this guy doesn't even give a shit about me. Can I control the fact that he pulled out in front of me?
But
No. Is it
we,
going to serve me to be rage? And no, it's not. And that's what I'm talking about. That's a
we
state I don't want to be in.
yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. We create all. You just said you, you created this little dialogue about this person.
Yeah,
And yeah, I did. I mean,
everybody
it's
does it.
great conversations. You create things that are not happening, and your energy, and it's like, what the hell?
Facts and stories. Yeah, everybody does this too. Bill, I do this when I'm walking down the street. Is so inherent to me when I'm walking my dog and I'll hear a dog barking and I'll start this scenario in my head about this dog's going to come out in the road and I'm going to have to pull out my pepper spray and it's not even happening. It's totally fake. It's probably a dog inside some house and it never manifests, but am I going to let myself go down that? It's going to happen if I do that. If I keep in that negative state and think, "Yep, that dog's going to come out and they're going to attack us," blah blah blah, and I'm just walking my dog. But we are
So,
so wired to do this.
so I think that is the perfect ending for the call because you just hit on the biggest thing that we've talked about. It's awareness, awareness,
Yeah.
awareness, awareness. And so, if I had to say one thing about getting something out of the call, would be get a journal, start writing your negative thoughts down, and you'll be stunned how many they come up and why. Why am I having these thoughts?
Yeah.
What happened? And you do that for a week, you'll be astonished.
Yeah.
So
100%.
this has been, I can't tell you how much
I'm telling you, we were kind of going in a lot of places, but I think we could have talked for 3 hours. So we're going to be wrapping up in just a couple minutes. So if you have any final comments, please get them out there. I just wanted real quick. Stella Scott has talked about the USA policies about employment. Yes, some of them are horrific. I will say I had pretty good experiences most of the time, but they're getting worse. Doris says overcoming all these saboteurs is about having unconditional love for yourself and not conditional love. Accept the dark sides of yourself as well as the light. It's that contrast and awareness of those differences which helps steers you to who you want to become. Amen. And Stella is a puzzler queen. And Eileen says she loves her recliner, and I recline on it. And I do too sometimes, Eileen, when I'm meditating. Bill, before we wrap up, tell us what do you want our listeners to know? I, of course, will put all your links in the comments, but what do you got coming up? What do you?
Yeah, I have a lot coming up. I have a lot of exciting things, but the biggest thing would be if anybody's interested after this call, I will offer 30-minute free coaching session. So yeah, and I would also will be sending you a lead magnet book. I was actually going to send one, but I'm going to send two now because of what we talked about in terms of what can you do right now to calm down and clear your mind. So I have a lead magnet book that I wrote for that, so I'll include that as well. But yeah, I have a book coming up, so I'm writing that. Yeah.
When's that coming out?
It's not coming out for a while, but we don't have an announcement date, but I am working on it and I'm excited about it. But have a lot of master classes coming up as well. But yeah, this was fantastic. There's so many different things we could talk about in the future. But the other thing that I would love to talk about more is just manifestation. That will be the next exercise, but I'd also encourage people to look at just any of these things we talked about, and I'm a guide, so
I love it.
I've walked through the fire.
You know what? And I also meant to, while you were talking there, I wanted to put your links up here for anybody. Of course, again, I will put them in the comments.
You can book a meeting right at Safe Harbor Coaching Info, and if you do that, I'll just recognize that as a free 30-minute session. But I would also love to network with this group because I know we're all in the same frequency.
So much, man. We got to do another show because I think, and then we, like you said, we can maybe hone in on one because we were just kind of all over the place, which I love. But there was just so much good stuff that we could go into and did, but so much more. Bill, thank you so much for being my guest.
This pleasure's mine. I love this.
It was awesome.
I wish I had style like you.
Oh, please.
Should have worn my Charlie Brown shirt. That's what I would.
Well, you should. My husband used to have a Charlie Brown shirt, and my husband wears a Denny shirt sometimes, or a Star Trek shirt on casual Fridays to work sometimes. So, you know what? There is no limit, but of course, nothing required other than your awesome personality. I so appreciate it, and I will definitely have you back because if I had known that you were, all this stuff that you were into about manifestation and, the vortex and stuff, I would have would probably just say, okay, let's just talk about that. But thank you so much. It's so appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right,
you,
next week.
everybody, for joining.
Yeah, thank you. We had great audience participation today. We always do, but you guys are very lively with some great insight. I love it. You guys are awesome. Next week, my very special guest on The Thirsty Professional is Brigitta Brokowski. I hope I pronounced her name right. I am a Polish person by birth, so I should know how to pronounce those Eastern European names. Brigitta is a brand identity strategist and business educator, and if I may say, she is a wonderful bundle of positive energy. She's just a ball of fire. She also believes that branding starts with mindset. See, another mindsetter. I could not agree more. Absolutely. And I can't wait to dive into that with her. Mindset has been, as I've alluded to and spoken about, has been such a key to my journey in the past few years. So I can't wait to talk to Brigitta on June 27th. Hope you can join us. If you are watching on LinkedIn, please connect. If you are not already, both with myself and with William Wacker. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Always appreciated. And if you have any questions or feedback we didn't get to, please leave them in the comments or DM one of us. And congratulate yourself for getting real about your career, your purpose, your passion, your happiness. So now, Miss Hattie Arbuckle, my lovely hat here, and Bill Wacker, and I now bid you farewell. Take it easy.
Fill your cup. Let's have a chat about careers, life, and all of that.